receipts yesterday. Let's continue with the discussion of receipts. I think I'm sharing revenue receipts. Never mind. I would want someone to remind me of an example of a capital receipt, if you can.
Ma'am, may I?
Privatization.
Borrowings.
Borrowings taken. Any
Privatization.
privatization, is it a receipt or is it a process?
It is a process. I mean, disinvestment of public enterprises.
Yeah, take it. Disinvestment, I'll accept. Any other we can recall? We can talk of different small savings that the government can do and how exactly small savings are happening when they're accepting deposits from people. Lastly, talking about recovery of loans. Thank you, RN. Recovery of loan goes as a capital receipt because your asset reduces. What exactly were capital receipts? This becomes important here. A receipt that will either increase your liability or will decrease your asset. Receipts from sale of shares will be accepted as capital receipt because you're looking at shares as an asset. So if I sell off my shares in a company and I get income, goes as capital receipt. Thank you for pointing that out, Jaideep.
Ma'am,
Anji.
shouldn't the point D, small savings, is covered with the point A, borrowings, domestic and external?
Borrowings, when you're looking at small savings, are generally from your public in form of very small amounts. When you're looking at borrowings, the only difference between the two is the scale. So if I say that the government has borrowed money for construction of metro, that will be a part of A. If I say that the government is borrowing from the public in form of, say, public provident fund, that will be a part of D. However, the two work in the same direction only. Both are loans for the government. It is just the difference of scale.
Sure, ma'am.
All right. We now come to revenue receipt. Revenue receipt में क्या होगा? We'll talk about a receipt that neither causes any reduction in asset nor leads to an increase in liability. मतलब आपके पास पैसा आ रहा है पर ना ही उससे कोई asset का structure change हो रहा है ना कोई liability में change हो रहा है. How exactly will that happen? For revenue receipt, we have two broad categorizations. One, we have something which we call as your tax revenue. मतलब आपका जो भी revenue in form of tax आ रहा है, that can be considered as revenue receipt. We also have revenue coming in form, but it is not exactly tax. So you're looking at non-tax revenue. Two broad classification of revenue receipts will then be tax revenue and non-tax revenue. We'll talk about the tax revenue first, and then we'll move to non-tax. When we're looking at tax revenue, it is nothing but the money that the government collects in form of taxes. Now, what exactly is a tax? It's just a mandated payment that we have to make to the government for certain purpose or for certain production or consumption. So if I say that if I take you before GST came in, if I go to a movie hall and I watch a movie, there was something which was known as an entertainment tax to be paid by the person who was enjoying the service. If you go in for dining, there was something like a service tax to be paid by the person who was enjoying the service. So if you are either producing something or consuming something, and if the government has mandated a payment on that, that goes as your tax. The formal definition is here. And we're talking about a compulsory payment imposed by the government on persons or on companies. तो आपका इकोनॉमिक यूनिट्स हम सिर्फ एक इंडिविजुअल कंज्यूमर नहीं देख रहे हैं, आपकी कंपनीज भी टैक्सेस पे करती हैं imposed by the government. टैक्स को हम फैक्टर पेमेंट मानते थे या ट्रांसफर पेमेंट मानते थे?
Transfer payment, ma'am.
Transfer.
Do we have a reason for that?
Ma'am,
Because when no productive activity is happening here, only a payment is being made to the government in return of nothing. Nothing, as in no immediate returns.
Anyone else who would want to say something?
I'm sorry.
No, I'm asking others if anyone else wants to add something. All right, we're considering taxes as a transfer because there's no factor service that has been rendered by the government. We've simply mandated a payment. All right, when we're talking about taxes, so we're looking at two broad categories here. We're looking at direct tax and we're looking at indirect tax. Direct, acha, chodo, before I explain, I would want you people to read this portion, this underlined portion, and then maybe if anyone who would want to explain can try. Please read first.
Ma'am, I read it.
All right, other than Shashank and Shivam, anyone who wants to explain. Anyone else who's understood and is willing to explain direct tax?
May I?
Please do.
Ma'am, direct tax, ma'am, it is basically a tax in which one person is liable to pay, but finally it is paid by another person. Like, ma'am, in case of
Arthur, please continue.
ma'am, I can't think of any examples.
All right. That is not exactly correct. Anyone else who would want to try, please?
Now can I answer?
No. I see Daksh Sahni on call. Daksh, can you try? If you are on call. If not Daksh, then maybe Naman. All right, taken Daksh, not an issue. Raghav Arora, do you think you can try?
Yes, ma'am.
Please try.
Ma'am, direct tax is basically a tax whose incidence and impact falls on the same person, and the burden cannot be shifted.
Do you think that can be explained in simpler language? I mean, that formal definition is perfectly fine. There is nothing wrong. But how exactly can we simplify so that others also understand? Aditya,
Ma'am, should I tell some examples?
करो, बताओ.
Ma'am, for example, ma'am, like you have just written sales tax, excise duty. Uh,
Sales and excise are direct taxes.
no, ma'am, they are indirect. Direct taxes are like income tax, wealth tax, corporation tax.
All right, taken. Aditya, for your statement, a little more explanation would be needed when you say single person directly. All right, Shashank, now you want to say something?
Yes, ma'am. For example, GST is a tax which is paid by a person. Therefore, the liability is on that person or the burden is on the person only, and he has to pay that tax. So that is known as a direct tax.
No, no, no. एक second, let this van go, okay? Just 2 minutes. In the meanwhile, Google करो, जाओ देखो एक बारी सारे डायरेक्ट टैक्स क्या होता है. All right, I think they're departing. So, Priyanshu, I'll accept that direct tax is imposed on persons and properties. GST is an indirect tax. We could have put a full stop there. For some reason, I don't like the phrase by the way. All right. Talking about direct tax, when we're looking at these phrases here, burden of tax falls on the person.
Ma'am, can I tell?
बताइए.
Ma'am, direct tax is basically paid directly by the person and cannot be shifted, or no one can pay and take the burden of that tax. Like, ma'am, house tax and income tax. A person like ma'am, like me, if I am earning income that and then I have to pay that tax, nobody can pay on my behalf.
Harshit, I hire a CA every year to pay
Yes,
my
ma'am.
tax to the government. He's
Ma'am,
paying on my
but the
behalf.
money is
मतलब?
going from me.
Okay,
Nobody is paying for me.
taken. Anyone else who wants to add something?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, the
बताइए.
final effect comes on me, na.
हाँ जी, final
Mainly.
effect. Effect in what sense? ये
Ma'am, the
बताओ.
impact of money that is reducing from us, the money is going from our account, from our pocket, not from the CS pocket.
Accepted. Taken. Raghav Mittal, I think you wanted to say something.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, it is ma'am example, ma'am. Like we there is ma'am income tax, ma'am. Ma'am, the income is being generated by me, by myself, and now only I have to pay a tax on it. So, ma'am, that is a direct tax that it is liable. I am liable to pay, and the burden of the tax is also on me.
Accepted. Anyone else who wants to add something? Or I can conclude this entire discussion. All right, Shivansh, accepted. When we're talking about direct tax, either the books will talk about in terms of incidence and impact, or they'll talk in terms of liability or burden. In very simple language, direct tax hota hai whosoever is earning or whosoever has generated that income, the same person is supposed to make the payment for taxes. No one else can pay on my behalf. When I say on my behalf, that is that money should be reduced from my account balance, the discussion that I had with Harshit. So if I'm saying liability to pay or burden to pay क्या होता है, or impact or incidence क्या होता है, I'll talk in terms of impact and incidence since this makes more sense. Incidence is nothing but burden. तो ये मेरी responsibility है to make the payment to the government. If it is not reached, if it hasn't reached the government, I cannot blame my CA. So that responsibility or incidence or burden of payment is on me. By the time I do not receive the receipt from the IT department that they've received my income, I have no tangible proof that my income tax has been paid. Impact क्या होता है that this will reduce my income. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि किसी और ने मेरा इनकम टैक्स पे कर दिया तो मेरी इनकम अनअफेक्टेड रह गई है. इन केस ऑफ डायरेक्ट टैक्स, इम्पैक्ट और इंसिडेंट्स दोनों एक ही पर्सन पे होते हैं. Let's talk in terms of examples now. Income tax, the most famous tax that we talk about. मैं इनकम अर्न कर रही हूँ. 1, my responsibility to pay the tax to the government. Next, इसका impact भी मैं ही bear करती हूँ क्योंकि मेरे पैसे कम होते हैं. So if I'm saying that I'm annually paying a tax of say 1 lakh rupees to the government, मेरी annual income 1 lakh rupees से कम होनी चाहिए, किसी और की नहीं होनी चाहिए. If someone else has paid tax on my behalf, that is manipulation and I can be fined for it if I'm caught. Similarly, we have something like, all right, we don't have this in India, but this is an example of a direct tax, that is inheritance tax. So we have this tendency where people inherit property from ancestors. Some places put a tax on inheritance कि आपको जो भी पैसा मिला है आप उसका एक portion government को as tax दोगे. Again, जिस person को मिल रहा होता है, he is liable to pay the tax. Similarly, there are many examples. We have something like wealth tax, we have something like capital gains tax. सारे taxes में एक चीज है कि जिसको भी फायदा हो रहा है उसी पे responsibility है to pay the tax to the government, and the same person is supposed to pay. You cannot shift the burden on any else. Hence the word direct. Any questions so far? Gift tax accepted, Shivam?
Ma'am, since the starting of this discussion, we are talking about shifting the burden of paying the tax. Ma'am, nobody really wants to, pay your tax. Then why are we even considering this?
You tell me, why do we consider this? I don't want to pay income tax annually. Government is taking lakh rupees from me. But why am I still paying it to them? सोच के बताओ.
Ma'am, because it's a lot. But ma'am, my question is not about that. My question is that we are considering this statement that the burden of the tax cannot be shifted to one person to another. But ma'am, no other person really wants to pay our tax. They don't even want to pay their tax. Then why would they want to pay our tax?
All right, when I'm saying burden, that is purely responsibility. When I'm saying liability, that is paying out of their own pocket. That is one. When I come to indirect taxes, this will be more clear. Next, when you're saying that no one wants to pay someone else's tax, that's not exactly true. You know what can happen? There can be certain cases where if I say that there's a couple and both of them are working, if I say that my income is 1 lakh rupees per annum and my husband's income is say 10 lakh rupees per annum, if by some manipulation he ends up showing that my income is 5 lakhs and his income is 5 lakhs, he is effectively paying my tax, he's also paying his tax. क्यों ये लोग मैनिपुलेशन करते हैं? क्योंकि वो अगर ऐसे ही दिखाएगा 1 lakh and 10 lakhs दिखाते, so he collectively our tax as a couple would have been more than the tax that we would have to show under 5 lakhs each. The benefits of tax slab, as you pointed out yourself. Similarly, this happens very commonly in a Hindu undivided family business. So if you have 9 members in the family, आप दिखा दोगे 9 के 9 working है, आप 9 के 9 की family income दिखा दोगे, so that everyone comes in a lower tax bracket and collectively you don't have to pay 30% का tax, but maybe you're just paying 5% on each. So your aggregate amount comes out to be less. Too many manipulations. I'm not supposed to teach you how to manipulate. That is unethical, but this happens.
Sure, ma'am. Got it.
All right. I think Ritika, you were saying something. You wanted to say something?
Yes, ma'am. I was asking about the inheritance tax. Like, for example, if my grandfather is giving some property to my father, and then he then further gives it to me, so the inheritance tax would be paid by both my father and me, or just once?
The number of times it changes hands, ideally. That is the number of times you're supposed to pay. That is why you will. We don't have it in India, so we don't really have to worry about it. But the basic rule is whosoever inherits is liable to pay. इसीलिए आप देखोगे बहुत often लोग नहीं change करते हैं hands for property because they know we don't just have inheritance tax, वरना ये भी एक additional cost होता है, but there is additional cost of even changing hands. So you will have to say hire a lawyer for proper paperwork. You will have certain visits to the court. Since it becomes a tedious job, changing hands of property is not that frequent. But if it does, and if inheritance tax is applicable, both eventually will have to pay inheritance tax because both have inherited, so liable to the government. Did I fairly answer your question?
Yes.
Anyone else who has any thoughts?
Ma'am, about this inheritance tax only, suppose there is a person A whose father had shares in a company which is, on the brink of insolvency. So the actual value of virtual value of its share is practically zero. So does he also have to pay the tax after his father dies?
Beta, inheritance tax will always happen on the valuation of the asset. So if it is valued almost zero, then there's nothing inherited basically there. You're always taxing on the valuation. That is how you have an idea what is the worth of this inheritance.
Sure, ma'am.
All right. If you have any other questions or if questions come in late in your mind, feel free to drop a message. Let's proceed further. यहाँ पे ये बात करेंगे इनकम टैक्स का, where they're talking about examples. इनकम टैक्स इंडिविजुअल का एक बहुत कॉमन एग्जाम्पल है ऑफ डायरेक्ट टैक्स. कंपनीज का कॉमन एग्जाम्पल है कॉर्पोरेट टैक्स. सो द वे वी पे टैक्स टू द गवर्नमेंट ऑन आवर इनकम, companies pay corporate tax. Now, what is corporate tax? The tax that they're supposed to pay on profit for their income. But we've already discussed this in national income, if you remember. It was a part of profits. Everything is connected. You're not supposed to forget anything. Wealth tax, inheritance tax are other examples. Gift tax, capital gains tax. Capital gains tax is also an interesting tax, just in case you were interested. Have a Google search. You will like it, I think. This is what I want to talk about right now. Here it says direct taxes are generally considered progressive taxes. हम जब tax rate की बात करते हैं, there are three kinds of tax rates that we can study. We can have something like a progressive tax, we can have a proportional tax, or we can have a regressive tax. I'll just talk about progressive and regressive since direct and indirect are examples of these. Progressive tax क्या होता है? The tax that increases with the increase in income. So if I say India may, if you're earning say 5 lakh rupees, I'm taking a very basic example. Do not consider this to be a tax slab. आपको 10% का tax देना है. If I'm earning something like 10 lakhs, मेरे को 20% का tax देना पड़ जाएगा. If I'm earning something like 20 lakhs and above, मुझे 30% का टैक्स देना पड़ जाएगा. This is a hypothetical tax slab that I have made out of nowhere, but this is an example of progressive taxation. अगर इनकम बढ़ी जा रही है तो मेरा टैक्स लायबिलिटी भी बढ़ा जा रहा है. Ideally, we say that your taxes should be progressive in nature. Why do you think we have this belief कि आपके taxes progressive होने चाहिए?
Because we are assuming that our income is going to increase in the coming years.
All right. Any other thoughts? Can we understand the rationale behind progressive taxation?
Higher income groups can, ma'am, afford more.
Taken. Thank you. Higher income groups can pay those taxes, adding to what Bhavika has said, which is a very valid point, to reduce income inequalities. आपका lower level का person इतना tax दे ही नहीं सकता है, but he's also making some contribution towards the government, whatever his abilities are. The higher income group should make a higher contribution, and you're targeting income inequalities. ये income inequalities का point याद रखना. I will talk about this in my last class for budget. This goes as my progressive taxation. When we'll talk about indirect are regressive in nature. We'll talk about that also. Indirect taxes क्या होते हैं? When the liability to pay is on one person, but the burden falls on another person. अब यहाँ पे दोनों same person पे नहीं है. So if I say again, I am watching a movie, I'm supposed to pay entertainment tax. Liability to pay किस पे है? Who is supposed to pay entertainment tax?
The movie hall only.
No, liability to pay is on me. The burden of paying on the government, burden to pay to the government is on the movie hall owner. पैसा वो देना मैंने है, entertainment मेरा हुआ है तो entertainment tax भी मैं ही दूंगी. However, it is not my responsibility to ensure that the money reaches the government. It is the responsibility of the whole owner that the money reaches the government. If it does not reach the government, then you cannot trace me and say आपने income tax नहीं दिया. आप movie hall वाले के पास जाओगे कि आपने government को not income tax, कि आपने government को entertainment tax नहीं दिया. Here you are looking at two people being involved. So your burden has now shifted to a second party. Similarly, if I say I go and buy bread, bread में MRP है, MRP में मेरा GST included है. मैंने जब bread के पैसे दिए तो मैंने GST के भी पैसे उस retailer को दे दिए. Now, if the retailer does not pay that to the government, you cannot trace me and say that I've not paid GST. You will catch hold of the retailer and say कि आपने GST submit नहीं किया. Indirectly, I am paying to the government via the retailer in between. Capital gains is paid by the person who experiences capital gain. Shivam, that will be the seller.
Yeah. Got it, ma'am.
All right, let's talk about indirect tax a bit more, looking at certain examples. I'll not take sales tax. I'll just take GST only. GST, ideally, I am supposed to pay. जब भी मैंने पैसा दिया है, the retailer receives it. इसीलिए आप हमेशा बिल मांगते हो. बिल जब आप मांगोगे तो रिटेलर की बुक्स में रिकॉर्ड हो जाएगा कि उसने सेल किया है, which would then imply that he is supposed to pay that GST to the government forward. If you don't ask for a bill but you have paid the GST, सच्ची सच्ची बताओ ये GST फिर रखने कौन वाला है? If I'm not asking for a bill and I've paid the GST, who gets this GST?
The retailer.
The retailer will keep it with himself. He has no obligation at all to forward it to the government. ये chapter का part नहीं है, ये life skill मान लो. We have so many corruption instances here. So if you don't ask for a bill, the GST remains with the person. Ideally, you should ask for the bill. So your retailer pays to the government. But it is not his money that he's paid. He's paid my obligation to the government. Hence, I have indirectly paid GST to the government, making it an indirect tax. So you're looking at liability is different and the burden is borne by someone else. There are certain examples here. This file is accessible. Yeah, padhoge. I want to talk about this. Take a moment, read this, and then we'll discuss. Regressive taxes are opposite of progressive taxes. Regressive tax ho jata hai that if your income goes on increasing, your tax burden goes on decreasing. I'll just write it. If my income increases, tax burden decreases. I hope we can agree that this is a little unfair when it comes to the structure of taxation. Ideally, this should not happen. Can we agree on that?
Ma'am, I didn't got this. How is it regressive in nature?
All right. If I say there are, I'm looking at two people, A and B. Income iski hai 50,000 per month और इसकी income है 1 lakh per month. Both of them went for a movie, paid a tax of 100 rupees. दोनों का टैक्स तो सेम ही होगा, दोनों मूवी देख रहे हैं, आपका टैक्स सेम आएगा. Let's not take movie, it is not a necessity. I'll talk about a necessity, that is tax. All right, let's say a mask. I'm buying a mask and I'm paying a tax of say 50 rupees on that mask. Now let's see, इसने कितना दिया? इसने 50 by 50,000 into 100 का टैक्स दिया है और इसने 50/1 लाख का टैक्स दिया है. How much is this coming out to be? जितना भी आ रहा है, I hope you can see this is higher and this is a lower percentage. Can
Yes,
you see
ma'am.
that? Hence regressive. जो कम कमा रहा है, that person ends up paying a higher tax. और जो ज्यादा कमा रहा है, that person ends up paying a lower tax. आप high और low किस terms में कहते हो? You say it in terms of the income that you're earning. Let me take you back to income tax का वो जो example था. If I've not deleted that. ये आप ज्यादा आपकी इनकम होती रहती है, आपका परसेंटेज आइडियली बढ़ना चाहिए. यहाँ पर अगर आपने कांस्टेंट रखा हुआ है, so the impact will be more on a poor person as compared to a rich person. Hence your indirect taxes are regressive in nature. इसीलिए आप कभी भी अगर डिबेट देखोगे, and this is a very common part where, all right, I hope you're all matured enough. Too many feminist groups have this problem that you put taxes on sanitary napkins. Ideally, you're not supposed to do that. That is because that is the basic hygiene need of every woman, irrespective of being rich or poor. So the moment you tax it, it automatically becomes a matter of debate. Now, very often, all right, what happened when GST came in? When GST came in, the government taxed it at around, it was more than 5%, or I think it was 5%. I don't remember exactly, but that sparked a debate. The moment you put a tax on it, you're ideally saying as if I have a choice whether or not to buy it. That is when all these feminist groups came out and they said that this should not be taxed at all. Ye need hai hamari. When you're saying in that perspective, you're simply saying that if the moment you tax it, you're basically questioning someone's hygiene, and a lower group person will have to pay a higher burden, will have to have a higher burden of the consumption as compared to a richer person. Why exactly? Because aapka regressive taxation hai. Hence, people argue for no taxes there. Another example, when the Dandi March, I think it is called Dandi March, when salt was taxed, and we had that march where Gandhiji went to simply, as a sign of protest, that we're not paying tax on salt. वहां से वो भी क्यों trigger हुआ? Why did that hurt? Because you know that you're rich and poor all buy salt, and ultimately the poor will end up paying more as compared to the rich. Now what is the economics behind this? Here it is, that your indirect taxes are regressive. Your poor ends up paying a higher proportion as compared to your rich. All right. Yeah, ये थे आपके tax revenue, that is direct taxes and indirect taxes. Let's quickly go to non-tax revenue. Now these are your sources that are not coming out of tax but are different sources. I'll quickly walk you through these. One is interest. So if the government has given loan to state government or to local governments or any enterprise or a bank, then they're earning interest out of it. वो हो जाती है इनकी non-tax income. Next, you can have profits and dividends. Now, government also has certain enterprises that they're running, public sector undertakings उनकी हो सकती हैं. Either you're earning profits out of those. Dividend होता है if you've invested in any organization and you're getting a return on your investment, that counts as dividend. Another
Excuse me, ma'am.
non-tax. हाँ जी.
मैम लेकिन अब तो डिविडेंड पे टैक्स देना पड़ता है ना?
Dividend still remains the income. टैक्स
ma'am,
तो हर
लेकिन अब
चीज
तो-
पे ही होता है, इंटरेस्ट पे भी टैक्स है.
Yes, ma'am.
टैक्स तो हर चीज पर. आई एम सिंपली लुकिंग एट योर सोर्सेज ऑफ रेवेन्यू.
Okay, ma'am.
And if I'm looking at revenue, the tax is not 100%. ऐसा नहीं है कि interest आया और सारा का सारा ही हमने tax की तरह दे देना. There's a part of it which is taxed. So you still count it as your income. Next, you have fees and fines. So if the government is fining an organization or an individual, that becomes their income. Delhi में अगर आपको पता हो, our government started relying a lot on fines that they were collecting for traffic violations. So much so that they started having targets कि आज तो इतना fine collect करना है. It happens to be a very strong source of non-tax revenue for the government. Fees किस sense में हो सकती है? Fees can be in sense of a license fee. So if you go and get your driving license made, there is fee for your learner's license, there's fee for your permanent license. If you go for any government hospital, you're making a fee for your OPD card. If you're applying for any other provision, you have to pay fee, a nominal fee. Still counts as government's non-tax revenue. Lastly, external grants. Grant क्या होते हैं? Money that the government has received and they're not supposed to repay. So it is not a loan. अगर हमारी गवर्नमेंट को फॉरेन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से या फॉरेन कंट्री से सिर्फ वो फाइनेंशियल एड की तरह आपको पैसा दे देते हैं. If it is a loan, then it goes as a capital receipt because that increases your liability. A foreign aid or a grant, these are not loans. You simply get this money and you're not supposed to repay. Bribe is illegal, so it is beyond the purview of what we're doing. We simply stay at legal aspects. If I look beyond the legalities, bribe goes as transfer. You don't count that as a factor service. If you call it a commission, then I can consider that as a factor service.
Yeah, ma'am, got it.
All right, let's do one thing. I'll end this here. When we meet tomorrow, I'll quickly revise revenue and capital receipts and we'll continue with expenditure. For now, I'm posting your question of attendance. Please go and mark your attendance.
Sure, ma'am. Good day.
Other Google apps and click on Meet. You can click on Join or Start. I'm going to call it as test. You can see your camera, you can see your microphone. Now with that, it will take you to your screen. You can option speak one. Okay, option here. Click on
नहीं कर सकते, बताया हुआ है, वहां पे जाके आप उसको देख सकते हैं कि पूरा प्रोसेस वहां पे बताया हुआ है. लेकिन अगर आप उस चीज में पैसा नहीं इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं, नहीं लगा सकते हैं, कर सकते हैं, चाहे आप एक टीचर हैं, आप अपने YouTube चैनल पे या कहीं ऑनलाइन आप लिंक देना चाहते हैं या अपलोड करना चाहते हैं, या फिर अगर आप एक स्टूडेंट हैं, आप से मतलब आपको एक जुगाड़ मिल जाएगा और जुगाड़ की हेल्प से आप अपनी जो क्लास है उसको रिकॉर्ड कर सकते हैं. तो नमस्कार दोस्तों, मैं हूं. चैनल को भी सब्सक्राइब कर लेना और बेल आइकन को भी दबा लेना ताकि जो भी वीडियो इस चैनल पे. तो जुगाड़ में आपको क्या करना है, जुगाड़ के लिए आपको अपनी जो स्क्रीन है उसको रिकॉर्ड करना है. और भी टूल्स के बारे में बताया तो वो पूरी सीरीज आप देखें, आपको बहुत अच्छे से आइडिया लगेगा. इस वीडियो के अंदर अपने स्क्रीन जो रिकॉर्डिंग है उसके बारे में अपने बात करेंगे. तो यहाँ पे मैं आपको पूरा बता देता हूँ कि किस तरीके से आप अपनी मीटिंग को रिकॉर्ड करेंगे. तो यहाँ पे क्या करना है आपको, यहाँ पे आपको अपनी मीटिंग, जैसे ही आपकी मीटिंग स्टार्ट हो जाती है, स्टार्ट होने के बाद में आपको क्या करना है, आपको यहाँ पे फ्री कैम स्क्रीन रिकॉर्डर है वो चलाना है आपको. उसका लिंक भी आपको नीचे डिस्क्रिप्शन में मिल जाएगा. चलाना कैसे है, पूरा सिंपल प्रोसेस है, उसका भी एक वीडियो है. अब आप बोलोगे कि वीडियो बता रहा है, तो क्योंकि हर एक के लिए मैंने वीडियो बना रखे हैं, आप गो थ्रू जाएं, उन वीडियोस को देखें, आपको अच्छा नॉलेज मिल जाएगा और बहुत ही हेल्पफुल रहेंगे आपको अपनी जो क्लास है उसको अटेंड करने के लिए, या अपनी क्लास को और भी अच्छा बनाने. कि आप उसी सॉफ्टवेयर राइट क्लिक करके रन करना है, कुछ ज़्यादा प्रोसेस नहीं होता इंस्टॉलेशन का. अब आपको क्या करना है, यहाँ पे न्यू रिकॉर्डिंग पे आपको जैसे ही क्लिक करोगे आप, और उसके बाद में आपको यहाँ पे फुल स्क्रीन का जो ऑप्शन है वो यहाँ पे सेलेक्ट करना होगा. पूरा प्रोसेस ये बताया हुआ मैंने भी किस तरीके से रिकॉर्डिंग होती है. लिंक नीचे आपको डिस्क्रिप्शन में मिल जाएंगे. लिंक ही लिंक बता रहा हूँ आपको, थोड़ा ज़्यादा इरिटेट नहीं हो प्लीज़. हो गई है। अब स्टार्ट होने के बाद में जब आपकी जो ये पूरी रिकॉर्डिंग हो रही है, आपको जो टीचर बता रहा है या जैसे आप टीचर हैं आप बता रहे हैं, वो सारा का सारा रिकॉर्ड हो रहा है, होता रहेगा विद आपकी वॉल्यूम वगैरह सब उसमें, है ना। तो वो चीज़ जैसे ही आपकी रिकॉर्ड हो बाद में आपको प्रीव्यू आपको मिल जाएगा। प्रीव्यू मिलने के बाद में यहाँ पे आपको सेव एज वीडियो, है ना, तो यहाँ पे आपको क्लिक करना है। क्लिक करने के बाद में आपने उसकी जो क्लास दें, क्लास को जब आप देखो थोड़ा सा टाइम लेगा, आपकी लेंथ के अकॉर्डिंग, आपकी जो वीडियो की जो लेंथ है उसके अकॉर्डिंग यहाँ पे डेट दे देना। उस टाइम के बाद में एक्सपोर्टिंग होने में टाइम लगेगा, तो इसमें थोड़ा सा पेशेंस रखना है। अगर आपकी क्लास लंबी है तो टाइम लगेगा उसको, तो थोड़ा सा टाइम दें उसको। उसके बाद में आपकी क्लास है वो सेव हो जाएगी और फिर आप
What's up world, I'm Mr. Vaca and today
दोस्तों अगर आप एक YouTube चैनल चलाते हैं और स्क्रीन रिकॉर्डिंग की जब आपको ज़रूरत पड़ती है तो आपके लिए ये प्रॉब्लम आ जाती है कि जब भी आपको स्क्रीन रिकॉर्डिंग करनी होती है आपके लिए लिमिट का ऑप्शन आ जाता है, क्योंकि बहुत सारे सॉफ्टवेयर मिल तो जाते हैं अपने को ऑनलाइन, लेकिन उसमें कुछ लिमिट्स दी होती है। आप उसमें सिर्फ अनलिमिटेड यानी कि बिना कोई लिमिट के, बिना कोई वाटरमार्क के आप अपनी स्क्रीन है वो रिकॉर्ड कर सकते हैं और बिना किसी पैसे दिए आप उसको यूज़ कर सकते हैं। तो नमस्कार दोस्तों, मैं हूं परमजीत और आप देख रहे हैं ई टेक बर्ड। वीडियो अगर आपको अच्छा लगे तो प्लीज़ लाइक और कमेंट जरूर कर देना और बेल आइकन को भी दबा लेना ताकि जो भी वीडियो इस चैनल पे अपलोड होगा उसका नोटिफिकेशन आपको मिल जाएगा। तो यहाँ पे वीडियो को स्टार्ट करते हैं और मैं आपको बताता हूँ कि किस तरीके से यहाँ पे एक छोटा सा एक सॉफ्टवेयर है जिसकी हेल्प से आप अपना जो स्क्रीन रिकॉर्ड है वो कर सकते हो। यहाँ पे फ्री कैम करके एक सॉफ्टवेयर आता है, उसका लिंक आपको नीचे